Your gut contains trillions of microorganisms, and we're learning that this microbial community profoundly influences not just digestion but systemic aging processes. The gut-brain longevity axis is real, and the changes in microbiome composition that occur with age have measurable consequences throughout your body. Here's what happens as you age, and it's concerning. Microbiome diversity decreases significantly. You lose beneficial bacterial strains and often see an increase in potentially inflammatory species. This shift contributes to what researchers call inflammaging, that chronic low-grade inflammation associated with aging. Your gut microbiome influences immune function, produces neurotransmitters, synthesizes vitamins, and communicates with distant organs through metabolites. When that community becomes dysbiotic, it affects everything. The gut-brain connection is particularly fascinating and somewhat unsettling. Your gut bacteria produce significant amounts of neurotransmitters, including about 90% of your body's serotonin. They also produce compounds that cross the blood-brain barrier and influence brain function. Studies show that microbiome composition correlates with cognitive function in older adults. A disrupted microbiome may contribute to age-related cognitive decline through inflammatory pathways and direct neurotransmitter effects. So what can you actually do? Prebiotic fibers are crucial because they feed beneficial bacteria. We're talking about specific types of fiber like inulin, fructooligosaccharides, and resistant starch. These aren't just generic fiber. They're substrates that beneficial bacteria ferment into short-chain fatty acids, particularly butyrate, which has anti-inflammatory effects and supports gut barrier integrity. Specific probiotic strains show particular promise for longevity. Akkermansia mucinifila is one that's gotten significant research attention. This bacterium strengthens the gut lining and has been associated with improved metabolic health and reduced inflammation. It declines with age in many people. Lactobacillus and bifidobacterium strains also show benefits, particularly for immune function and reducing inflammatory markers. Fermented foods provide a practical approach to introducing beneficial bacteria. Real fermented foods like kimchi, sauerkraut, kefir, and traditional yogurt contain live cultures. The variety of bacterial species in these foods often exceeds what you get from probiotic supplements. Plus, fermented foods contain postbiotics, the beneficial compounds produced by bacterial fermentation. Time-restricted eating has interesting effects on gut microbiome composition. When you eat within a consistent daily window, you're giving your gut microbiome a fasting period. This appears to influence bacterial composition favorably, potentially selecting for species that support metabolic health. Here's a warning though. Fecal microbiota testing can be informative, but interpreting results is complex. Companies will tell you your microbiome composition, but understanding what that means for intervention is still evolving. Not all bacterial changes are straightforward. Some bacteria considered good in one context might be problematic in another. The practical protocol involves several components working together. Daily prebiotic fiber intake from diverse sources, regular consumption of fermented foods, consideration of targeted probiotic supplementation, particularly strains with research backing for your specific concerns. Time-restricted eating if metabolically appropriate. And crucially, avoiding factors that harm your microbiome. Excessive antibiotics when not necessary, artificial sweeteners that some research suggests disrupt gut bacteria, and highly processed foods that feed inflammatory bacterial species. Your gut microbiome is remarkably responsive to intervention. Changes in diet can alter bacterial composition within days, though establishing stable, beneficial changes takes longer, typically months of consistent intervention.